Greetings, I am your ugly American Duke fan, and I am here to show you how to have the worst possible start to your college coaching career. Now, I admit to not being the world's foremost authority on this football thing, so I've brought in an assistant to help out with this video. Ladies and gentlemen, ugly American TCU fan! Riff Ram Bazoo, everyone! So, this past Monday night, the North Carolina Tar Heels opened up their football season. And this was a big night for the Heels, as it was the first game for their brand new head coach, Bill Belichick. Now, Belichick had previously had no college coaching experience, but he had a fairly decent career coaching in the NFL. His New England Patriots won 6 Super Bowls in less than 20 years, starting in 2001. Now, given his rather pedestrian record in between that stretch, a lot of people might attribute that success to a player by the name of Tom Brady. Michigan's own Tom Brady, I might add. Yeah. The point is, by taking the job in Chapel Hill, this was Belichick's chance, at the age of 70 no less, to start anew. And so, Belichick and the Tar Heels' first game against the TCU Horned Frogs was a complete disaster! The Heels did score a touchdown on their very first possession to take an early 7-0 lead. Really? 7 points just for one score? What is it with this game? They would not score again until late in the third quarter, at which point TCU had already scored 41 straight points. At least 2 of those touchdowns were scored by TCU's defense directly off of turnovers. Apparently having more than 3 turnovers in this football game is a bad thing. Final score, Tar Heels 14, Horned Frogs 48. It was the most points North Carolina had ever allowed in a home opener in their program's history. I'm pretty sure there have been more than a few games where Dean Smith's basketball team allowed fewer points. To add insult to injury, in attendance for this game were North Carolina legends Michael Jordan and Mia Hamm. You know, from sports that North Carolina actually knows how to play. For more information on just how embarrassing this was for a coaching debut for Mr. Belichick, here's TCU fan. Thank you. See, we here at TCU know a thing or two about going up against teams that are debuting an NFL legend as their head coach. In September of 2023, TCU opened its season against the Colorado Buffaloes, which was the first game for their new head coach, Deion Sanders. Now, it is true that Mr. Sanders did actually have previous coaching experience when he came to Colorado at Jackson State University. However, it should also be noted that TCU was coming off a season in which it made it all the way to the national championship game. How did that game turn out again? Never you mind! The point is, this was our chance to prove that the 2022 season was not a fluke, and this team was fired up, and this game was on our home field of Amon Carter Stadium in Fort Worth. And we lost. 45-42. We could not stop the Buffaloes to save our lives. Every time the Frogs scored a touchdown, Colorado just came scoring right back. But just think about this. If we had only scored the amount of points we scored in that game against Colorado that we did here against North Carolina, we still would have blown out the Tar Heels. And in this game, we scored 6 more. The point being that Coach Prime, the most overhyped coach maybe in all of college football history, still had a better coaching debut than Mr. Bill Belichick's college debut. Congrats, Mr. Belichick. You learned the hard way to fear the frog. Thanks, man. By the time the 4th quarter of this game started, the stands at Kenan Stadium looked kind of like the stands of a Georgia Tech basketball game when they're facing Duke. Social media was abuzz with plenty of jokes comparing the margin of victory to this game between the separation of age between the 70-year-old Belichick and his 24-year-old girlfriend. Word is, said girlfriend left the game early, not so much because of the score, but because the game didn't end early enough for her bedtime. The game turned out to be so bad that the ESPN broadcast crew actually put a headset on Kirk Herbstreit's dog to deliver its play-by-play call. Apparently, the dog is now being interviewed to replace Lee Corso on the College Game Day crew. It's believed that the performance of this game alone has automatically secured Hubert Davis's job security as North Carolina's basketball coach for at least another 2 years, and us Dukies are greatly appreciative of that. I'm your ugly American Duke fan, reminding you that when you're ready to catch a real sport, we'll see you all in November. Seriously, this is when you're supposed to say just kidding to that whole want to go to the SEC.